Hi, and welcome back to Dusty Book Sniffers. My name's Nicole, and today we are going to talk about A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Whew, that is a mouthful of a name. So, let's get started. Well, good morning or good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day while I prattle on about the books that I have read. So, as I said in the intro, we are talking about A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Whew, that is one hectic name. I read this as part of a group read over in Dusty Book Sniffers reading nook, and we read this for the month of, I want to say August, no, July, no? July, yes, it was in July. So I read it for the group read there, but then I didn't end up finishing it until just recently because I got about halfway through and I just put the book down and then didn't come back to it. Things happened and whatnot, but I just wasn't really feeling it. And I've been having some discussions with my daughter about it because she was saying, you need to read it, Mum. It's a good book. You need to read it. Now, it's got 720 pages in it, and I probably would say 300 of those pages are unnecessary, straight off the bat. I'm not normally one to go, it's unnecessary to have 300 and something. I have said it in the past. I'm not saying that I've never said it, but it's not normally something that I would say. It's probably, I would say it's got about 320 pages. That is unnecessary. And that is because it was more about the author just trying to make me feel things. And, yeah, so this is my opinion. Now, this book has been around for a while. I think it was published back in 2016, wasn't it? Let me have a look at this. 2015. Okay, so it's been around for quite some time, but it seems to be, it was last year, I think, or the year before, it was everywhere on Booktube. Like, everybody was reading it. It was like it had only just been released or something. But I think the cover change from the face to this may have had a little bit of a play with it, because I picked this up before I picked the other one up, and I was in a bookstore where they were side by side, and I gravitated to this, not the other one. So the other one, the guy looked like he was in, like, it goes with the book, but still, it looked weird. It was like he was going to the toilet. I'm sorry to the artist for that cover, but yeah, it wasn't a good cover. Anyway, this one's better. But anyway, so my daughter said, she bought the book home. I said, I see that all over the internet. She goes, you've got to read it, Mum. Everybody's talking about it, rah, rah, rah. And I don't normally gravitate to something that everybody's talking about, because ultimately I get let down. And I was somewhat let down by this book. And, yeah, it was like I don't know how to explain it and put it into words. So I picked up the book and I went full steam ahead into it. I read in, I think, 2 sittings. I read half the book, and then I put the book down and I just didn't feel the drive to get back to it. I could have just stopped reading there. So that's why I said, I think that, like, nothing was resolved. There was no ending, no conclusion at that point. But I think overall, after reading all the book, it could have just stopped at around 400 pages, because there was just so much unnecessary rubbish in it. And I just felt like the author was just trying to make me cry. This did not make me cry at all. It just frustrated me. It didn't make me angry. The things that were happening in it weren't great. Like, there's a long list of trigger warnings, which I will put up here and you can see them. So there is a long list of trigger warnings, and it is all mentioned in there. Now, I think when a book has that many trigger warnings, the author is intentionally trying to make you feel things, because that is going to cut a lot of the population out of reading that, or make them curious. So basically, it's following the story of Jude and his friends from when Jude is young. Well, it comes in when they're in their early 20s, just out of college. And so basically it's following Jude in his story, and it gives you flashbacks to things that have happened to him in the past and why he's the way he is now and all that sort of stuff. And just, there was a lot of unnecessary stuff. Like, now I'm just going to put a trigger warning here. I am going to talk about things that are going to upset people in this review. So there is things about cutting, self-harming. There is suicide in this. There is sexual assault. Just, there's everything. Like, as you've seen the list, there's everything. And I when I started reading this, because most of the people that I have watched that have talked about this have been younger. Okay, now I'm not saying I am the wise one because I'm of a particular age or anything like that. It doesn't matter what age you are, you can get affected by things, and things can be traumatic for you and trigger and all that sort of stuff. But I think that, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I don't know what that says about me or what, but I felt so desensitized to this. Like, I just wasn't, I think because this is so all the time in the media, and like the cutting and the, you know, sexual abuse and all that sort of stuff, it didn't move me the way I thought it was going to move me. Now, I spoke to my daughter who was 18, and I told her that I've got up to page 350 something, and I'm bored. Like, I was bored by this book. And she goes, no, Mum, keep reading. It gets better. And I'm sorry to say, Savannah, it didn't get any better. It was just an author trying to shove stuff down my throat to make me cry or make me feel something. Did I feel sorry for him? Yes, I did. You know, no one deserves to have that stuff happen to them. Could he have handled himself a lot better? Yes, he could have. Like, this is a dude that, in my opinion, has a pretty privileged life. You know, he's had some serious, and I'm going to swear here, so if you don't like swearing or your kids are in the room, take them out of the room now or mute it. And I'm going to use some words that I don't normally use on my channel, but this dude had some fucked up shit happen to him. Okay, really fucked up shit happened to him. And I get that changed him for the rest of his life. But this particular character played the victim throughout his life. But then he also, at the same time, played the reluctant victim, because he didn't share what happened to him with his friends, and inadvertently they found out. But he didn't share, and he was quite judgmental himself, and this is just my opinion, and like, you're probably screaming at the camera, like at your device right now, going, I'm a bloody idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about. This is how it made me feel, okay? And I don't analyze books or anything like that. It's just how it made me feel, and it made me frustrated. It made me pissed off at the main character, which was the author's intention. I do know that. So she succeeded there. But as for the rest of it, if she was trying to make me feel something, cry or whatever, in the end, I did not feel sorry for Jude at all. I just did not like him because he was a lawyer in a high-paying job. He had really no family to speak, like no children, no dependents or anything like that. He put himself in situations where he didn't need to be. He was harming himself when really, if he had have went and got himself some help, and I know I'm sounding judgmental right now, I can hear myself on that, but a little bit of help may have helped him a little bit, you know, like he pretty much, and that's where I'm saying he played the victim, and at the same time playing the reluctant victim. Like he wanted to get help, but he didn't get help. And you know, he had a support network around him of loving, caring people, and he just kept pushing them away. And I do know that, you know, people that suffer that horrific abuse when they're younger, they do tend to do that. I'm well aware of that's what they do. And the author hit that part on the head. But the people that I know and I have in my life that have actually had this stuff happen to them, don't tend to, they all are not in a privilege, like, in a privileged situation where they have the money and the resources behind them, but they still went and got help for themselves because it's not a way to live. And basically this just frustrated the hell out of me. And that's where I was saying on Instagram, you know, where life experience sometimes can make you a little bit jaded or make you a little bit hardened to the things that you're reading. And this is the sort of conversation that I had with my daughter, and she was quite affected by the book, and rightly so, because she has been shielded. I have shielded her from that sort of stuff. She's not a lot of her friends. I don't think there's any of her friends that have actually suffered that sort of abuse or anything like that, whereas a lot of my friends had. So I have managed to shield her from that. Is that a good thing, or is that I don't know. Time will tell. But we've always talked about it because I've had friends, like my kids weren't allowed to have sleepovers and stuff like that because I didn't want to put them in harm's way, because I had friends that were at sleepovers that were for a lack of a better term, kitty fiddled and stuff like that. So this book is full of all that sort of stuff, and so if you're triggered by that, it's going to be a rough ride for you. And I just was very frustrated at the author because she was just trying to shove it down my throat, and I don't think that is how you should have written the book. You could have made just as much of an impact on the younger generation that have read this book, doing it a little bit better, instead of just, Jude just frustrated the hell out of me. This is not a really good review. This is more about my feelings. I'm sorry. But it just frustrated the hell out of me. But I will say I'm glad that I read it, because now I don't have that what if moment, or should I read it? I've read it. So I gave Little Life a 2.5 3-star rating, because it just, it's still a good read. Someone else will enjoy it. It just wasn't the book for me. And I've had the discussions with a few people about the book, and I've even talked about with people that DNF'd it and asked them why they DNF'd it, and they were the same thing. They got about halfway through to that point where I put it down and just thought, I don't need this stuff shoved down my throat. And it's not that, and the discussion sort of that I've had with a few people, one person said it's not that they are trying to not think about the mental illness or the stuff that happened in the book. It's just that it was put in a way that they just didn't like how it was. It felt like that it was getting shoved down their throat. And I have to agree. I really do have to agree with that because it just wasn't an enjoyable read. It was a very frustrating read, but I still, if you would like to read it, it is still a decent read. It's a lot of pages. As I said, it's 320 pages too long, in my opinion. And I think if she had shortened that book, it probably would have had a lot more impact. There would have been ways to write it. Not that I'm an expert writer at all. I don't write at all. But I think that there would have been, and other books that I have read with the same sort of stuff in it have been a lot shorter and very impactful and have moved me, because they were written in a way where it just didn't go on and on and on about it, on and on and on about it, on and on and on about it. And that's how I felt with this book. So it's a 2.5 star rating from me. Pick it up if you so choose. If you don't pick it up. Just know there's a lot of us out there that have DNF'd it, and rightly so. But that's it from me today. A little bit of a different review, a lot of feelings in there. Sorry about the swear words, but that was the only way that I could articulate myself. But thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate you being here. If you like this, make sure, excuse me, I still have coughing fits and I can feel one coming on, so excuse me for a moment. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and maybe share across the socials and help my channel grow. But that's it from me today. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.